Hello, welcome back to Greencraft HQ and welcome back to a review of a bit of gear I think you might be interested in. Now, with restrictions starting to be lifted a little bit at a time, I'm sure a lot of people's minds are thinking ahead to the prospect of perhaps being able to get out in the woods and possibly camp out overnight. And this bit of gear is something that you would probably want to take with you. Now, if I'm honest, the majority of my lighting needs are fulfilled by this. And this is my little Olight i3T, I think. And this does pretty much 95% of everything that I need. Those little jobs like going up in the loft or looking under the car or looking for something under the sink, all those little jobs get done by this little light, and that's part of my EDC kit for that very reason. If I need hands-free, well, to be honest, it's that small and light, I can hold it between my teeth. On those occasions when that's not quite enough, then I've got a little head strap that I can mount it up on the side. So this does pretty much everything I need it to. Now, there are occasions when I do use a dedicated head torch, and that tends to be if I'm going away camping or as part of my safety kit if I'm going up into the hills. I always make sure I've got a head torch just in case I've got to climb away off a mountain in the dark. And the torch I usually choose for that is one of these, and this is a little Petzl Tikka headlight. Great little bit of kit. I think this is the third one I've owned. They're relatively cheap. They're freely available. You can get them in most camping shops. You can get them on Amazon. They run on 3 AAA batteries. They've got several lighting modes. I think this one's got 4, including the little red one, which helps protect your night vision. And they are a good bit of kit. They're relatively lightweight. They've got a good wide head strap, and they're comfortable to use. And this is what I reach for if I need a head torch. And then a few weeks ago I got sent this, a little cardboard box. But it's not the box I was interested in, and it's not what you're interested in either. It's what was inside this little box. And once I opened the box, inside I found this. And this is the Wowtac A2S head torch. Whoa, hold on, rewind. Wowtac? Never heard of Wowtac. But as it turns out, I have heard of ThruNite, and they are something to do with ThruNite. They seem to be the parent company, and ThruNite is quite a well-known lighting company. So what this is a rechargeable head torch. It comes with a USB cable and a set of instructions. It's recharged from the USB cable into a little battery, which you find in here. Now, this confused me a little bit. I was looking for a charging port on the outside. And what I didn't realise is actually the charging port is on the battery. While you're charging it, a little light comes up to say it's charging. And I charged it for about 6 hours when I first got it. It doesn't actually say in the instructions how long you charge it up for. But as I said, I've charged it up once for 6 hours when I first got it, and I've used it quite a bit in that time, and well, it's still going. It hasn't needed recharging. Operation is simple. It's got a button on the top that you push down, and that does everything. You cycle through a series of modes. The modes, there's several different ones. You've got a firefly mode, which you put it on, it's a very dim light, which if you're working under a basher, I think as I said before with my Olight batten, that firefly mode actually illuminates a little space in underneath a basher just fine. Also good for things like night navigation. If you're just looking at the map, you don't want a big bright light. And this has this little firefly mode. That firefly mode lasts for, I think it's 59 days. So you can put this on, leave it in a location, and that location is then marked after dark for 59 days, which is quite useful if you're walking away from camp at any point after dark. You've got a way of marking where you're coming back to. So from that prospect, it's quite a good bit of kit. Also for things like putting up over the entrance to your tent, so that you've got some point of orientation. If you wake up in the dark, you know exactly where it is. So you can put it on that, leave it on that, and you don't have to worry about it running your torch flat, because as I said, 59 days. It also has several other modes. It has a low power setting, it has a medium power setting, a high power setting, and if you double click the top, it goes into turbo mode, which is an incredibly bright, just over 1000 lumen mode, which is bright. If you double click it again, it then goes into your SOS mode. So from a safety point of view, you've got this SOS flashing out just by double clicking on the top. An adjustable head strap, and it comes with this little rubber bracket, for want of a better term, which allows you to adjust the torch up and down. Now this bracket is quite soft compared to some of the other ones I've seen. They're usually quite a hard plastic. I think this soft one is actually quite a good idea. It means in the cold it's going to be less brittle and less likely to snap. It's quite nice and comfortable to wear. So in use, it's pretty simple to use. You bung it on your head. The bracket allows you to move it up and down because you can twist it. The head strap is nice and comfortable. It's adjustable to allow for different size heads and different types of headwear. So you're covered whether you're using a ball cap in the summer or a beanie in the winter, or even for attaching to something like a climbing helmet. And it all round, it's a pretty good little torch. The modes cycle through easily. So this is Firefly, back up and through. The turbo mode I found a little bit fiddly to engage when it's on my head. When it's in my hand, it's absolutely fine. One other thing I did notice is it's quite heavy on the front of your head. So as a running torch, if you're a runner, there's nothing to counterbalance it at the back. So it would gradually move up and down and gradually move down over your eyes. So probably not so good for running. But for everything else, great bit of kit. One other thing, it can be detached from the holder, and suddenly you've got a little handheld torch. Now this is where I think Wowtac missed a bit of a trick, because what they could have done was on the back of that, or included in the package at least, would be something like this. This is a little belt clip, and that could be attached to the back, and that would allow you to mount it either onto your belt or attach it to your rucksack shoulder harness for hands-free lighting as well, or attach it to molly straps. It would just make it that little bit more versatile. That said, it still is a cracking little torch. So how does this one, the Wowtac A2, compare against the Petzl Tikka? Because they're both pretty much the same sort of price. Well, this is very good. I've used it for years. It's tried and tested. This, I've used it a reasonable amount recently. As far as different modes and power output and the sheer amount of lighting you get, this leaves this standing. True, this one hasn't been around that long. It is a relatively new brand, but it's backed up by ThruNite, which is a well-known, and yeah, I think it's a pretty good bit of kit. I'll put a link in the description box down below for where you can get them, which will be a link to Amazon. Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's a good bit of kit. Now remember, if you've enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. As always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Feel free to put comments in the comments box down below, and you can always email me. My email address will be in the description box below, as will a link to my Facebook and my Instagram accounts. Go on there, see what stuff I'm up to, and there's also a link to my Etsy shop, which is empty at the moment. Should be an empty shop, not an Etsy shop. However, I am in the process of making up a big load of gear to go onto the Etsy shop very, very soon. In with that lot, it's going to be a couple of new products, quite exciting products. One I'm very, very excited about. The other one is I've just been out trialing it and I really like it. Actually, I think it's really, really good. I think you guys will like it too. You can also pop over to my Patreon page if you want to pay out a small monthly subscription to help support the channel. There are benefits to it. You do get exclusive videos and you will also get emailed when my next run of kit is going out on the Etsy shop, so that you get the heads up first. Anyway, I've been Neil, and until next time, stay safe.